Hello! Well, today is something that I have said I will do, but keep on putting myself off, telling myself I'm going to do it, and here I am doing it. Um, um, in 2004, something terrible happened to my family. My mother had a stroke, and from 2004 up until recently, she's had from 2004 she had many little strokes where she got into hospital for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and the longest was in 2008 into 2009 where she was in hospital all through um, that time into 2009, having bladder problem, having constipation problem, this problem, that problem, this problem, going through shitty carers, going through these carers that will say they're going to turn up and don't turn up, those who are just doing it for the money, have no empathy, who should not even be allowed near elderly people. My mother, unfortunately, lost the battle. On May of 2012, May the 14th, my mother died. Um, a week or so previous to that, she had another stroke. The stroke in 2004, it affected her right side, so she was only able to use her left-hand side. And she taught herself how to use her left hand. Um, but then, unfortunately, early early May, she had another stroke. I was non-responsive. What confused me when my mum had a stroke in early May of this year is that in the morning I did what I always did. I had my bath, went downstairs, drew her curtains back, opened the window and said good morning, mum. And she said good morning back to me. Within 2 hours of being at work, I got a phone call to say mum had a stroke. I said, what? I just spoke to her 2 hours ago. What I later on when I spoke to some of the carers, they said that she was talking like as usual when they came in, and suddenly she had another stroke. My mother um, was the came to England in 1957. Prior to coming to England, she was a teacher. Came to England oops, and became a nurse when she came to England in 1957. She had ambitions to go into America, but growing up in Nigeria, she didn't really know about the segregation of the 1950s of the United States. So when she applied for a nursing position in America, I think it was Philadelphia, they said, "I'm sorry, we don't take black people here." And um, that's when she found out about segregation in America, so came to England. So she was a nurse here in 1957. She didn't like the jobs that it was. So she went to go and study social work, and she learned how to read Braille. So she studied social work and was a social worker. Well, in the days when there was rarely any black social workers in Britain, and she experienced racism and whatever. But she was left here by my father, who's supposedly building a life for his children in Nigeria, which was a lot of horse shit actually. And in 1975, because my brother before me and my elder sister were causing trouble, in 1975 she took us to Nigeria on the guise that she was taking us on holiday. But when we got on an airplane, she said, "You're not going back to London." My mother was very, very funny, highly dramatic. She always wanted to be an actress, and believe me, she was an actress all through her life. She just made us laugh. She, her laugh was very loud and funny. She was unlike a lot of Nigerian parents in my situation where they would have chucked my ass out the house on discovery that I was a homosexual. She never did. She never liked it, but she was not the kind of woman who would turn her back on her children just like that. She was not someone who will suffer fools. When I see the nonsense my sisters put up with their children, my mother never would have put up with it. So in 1979, my second elder sister and my mother were and I came back to England in 1979. I went to a boarding school. My mother um, was a fiery woman. She had ambition. She wanted to, or her favorite phrase was, make your millions, become a millionaire. And I sillily always used to say to myself, oh, Mum will live to 100 and she'll get a letter from Buckingham Palace, because in England, when you reach 100, you get a letter from the Queen or Buckingham Palace to help you celebrate your 100th birthday. But unfortunately, my dream never came true. One of the biggest fears I always had is my mum's death. We think of our parents, some of us, as superheroes, that they are invincible, they can never suffer pain, they're strong. And my mother was strong, she was my hero. She was this intelligent, articulate, educated woman. She had a good heart, a good soul, a good spirit. And she loved life, and she loved her children, and she loved her grandchildren. She got to see her two great-grandchildren. Unfortunately, she didn't. Her third great-grandchild was due in August, and she would never get to see him, because we know it's him. I can't remember what years it was. I think it was her 70th birthday. She did develop cancer. It took me years to get over her cancer. Got over her cancer. She has a stroke, and her death has left a big hole in my heart. When I was told she had a stroke, this recently, I thought, oh, I didn't. It didn't seem real to me. It just didn't seem real to me. And then the realities set in, and then she died, and I cried and cried and cried. Um, then we buried her on the 31st of May, and I was okay, I think, when I going into church, and when they were saying the prayers, my second sister was crying even before we got into the church. But what made me the dams of tears burst out my eyes is when they decided to open the casket. Now, I didn't want to open the casket, my sisters wanted to, and that's where the tears came. I've got over it, but I still miss her. I'm an atheist, but I know one day we shall see each other. I know that's contradictory, as that's a religious thing to see each other one day. But I know she's free, because basically, if she had lived, she would have basically, because the stroke would have affected the side, her left side, so she would not have been able to do anything for herself. She would have had to go into a nursing home. So we are relieved. I know it sounds odd, I know it sounds cruel, that she didn't live, because she would not have wanted to live like that. My mother is free. She's free from strokes, further strokes. She's free from her liberty having been taken away from her, and due to be taken, would have been taken further away from her. She's free from those useless social work, useless carers. She's free. She's free. She's free. Wherever you are, Mum, I love you, my dear. I love you. And I miss you. And I hope you're at peace. And I hope that none of us as your children will see you for a long, long time. But I know you will see all four of us again. And we shall smile. And we shall be united with each other. I love you, my darling. I love you. I miss you. I miss you. I hope that I never will forget you. I love you, my darling. I miss you. I shall never forget you. But I know you're alive inside here and in my heart. And nobody can take that away from me. Nobody. Bless you, Mom. Bless you. And we shall see each other again.